So a lawsuit has been filed. This one is pretty loaded. Now, this is what you got to understand about student loans. Student loans have been hitting people's credit reports. I know personally from looking at different people's credit report from clients and different stories that I've been hearing. So if you're someone who's been affected by student loans, then this definitely is something you want to listen to, as well as if you know someone who is. Now, I've seen credit scores drop drastically because of the student loans reporting late payments up to 180 days of late payments. I've seen different things like increases on amounts that they owe, like the monthly payments increasing drastically, all because of the student loans, and it's negatively impacting their score. If you need help with taking your score to the next level, information in the description. But let's dive into this. Student loan borrowers sue Trump administration for blocking loan forgiveness and affordable payments. Like I said, this one is loaded. It says student loan borrowers are going on offense. Basically, Tuesday, the American Federation of Teachers, a major national labor union, represented the Student Borrower Protection Center, and Berger Montague filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration for preventing millions of borrowers from accessing affordable repayment plans and student loan forgiveness programs authorized by federal law. Now, some of these people had a decent amount of time to know that things might shift to a different direction, but they still feel as though they have grounds for a lawsuit. The lawsuit comes as the federal student loan repayment system is in turmoil. Millions of borrowers have been stuck in a forbearance for months due to a legal challenge associated with the SAVE plan, an income-driven repayment program launched by the Biden administration 2 years ago. And many people are paying a little less than, anything, and it's still counting as a full payment. Some people aren't paying anything at all. Some are going into a forbearance, and they were benefiting from that up until recently. It then says the fallout from that legal challenge is now impacting an even broader swath of borrowers after the Trump administration blocked access earlier this month to all income-driven repayment programs. And many people benefit greatly from income-driven programs because it allows it to base their payments on their income. If they're not making that much, bringing that much home, then their payments will reflect that. And I'm supportive of that because, truth be told, a lot of student loans were somewhat of a scam for people anyway. They borrowed money as a kid, got a degree in something that didn't benefit them, it's not benefiting them now, and they were sold the idea that getting a higher education was going to guarantee a higher paying job, when in all cases that may not be the case. So this is what has people in an uproar due to the fact that many times they were doing what they thought was the right thing, but it didn't last for that long. It didn't benefit them as long as they did, or the parents thought it was going to benefit the children, and now the children are up in their neck in debt. So that's just something to pay attention to. They even went on to further say, by effectively freezing the nation's student loan system, the new administration seems intent on making life harder for working people, including for millions of borrowers who have taken on student debt so they can go to college. And that was said by the president, Randy, of AFT. And then it says the former president tried to fix the system for 45 million Americans, but the new president is breaking it again, and borrowers are now facing peril because of this illegal and immoral decision to deny borrowers their rights under law. Now, there's a lot more to it than this as it relates to who's doing what, because if you pay attention to what's going on, I feel as though this administration is doing some great things to bring money back in, but let's see how it all unfolds. But let's see what this can potentially do to you if you're not aware. So the Department of Education cuts off student loan forgiveness and affordable repayment for millions. Until this year, the federal student loan borrowers had access to 4 separate income-driven repayment programs, but now they don't. So they had the SAVE plan, they had the forbearance programs, they had the ICR plan, and all of these things put people in a position to better their situation. But earlier this month, the Department of Education blocked access to all income-driven repayment plans after a new decision was issued by the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals as a legal battle over the SAVE plan continues. A group of Republican-led states had filed suit nearly a year ago to try to block the SAVE plan, which they argued was an illegal overreach by the Biden administration. In its most recent ruling, the Eighth Circuit broadened its preliminary injunction blocking SAVE while the legal battle continues, resulting in more than 8 million borrowers remaining in a forbearance that prevents them from making progress towards loan forgiveness, including under the PSLF. So the court also suggested that the student loan forgiveness at the end of the 20 or 25 year repayment term for the ICR or pay plans may be improper despite 3 decades of regulation, loan contract language, and public assurances made by borrowers, but did not issue any order formally blocking these plans or striking them down. And the court did not enjoin the PSLF. So in other words, they're saying that it could have been done improperly from the beginning. So even though people have been benefiting from it, it could have been being done improperly from the beginning. And as a result, people are seeing catastrophic increases in their monthly payments. As I told you, I have people that I know personally, clients, that were like, hey, it's showing that my payment has gone up. It's showing that I've been late for the past 180 days. And then we look at their credit report and we see, boom, their score dropped by over 200 points just off of that alone. Now, it's not the end of the world. You still want to make sure you're taking full control of understanding your credit. And that's what we're here to do as well. We have links in most of our videos that show you how you can take full control of your credit, get assistance, because if the student loans are impacting you, then it's important for you to do things outside of the student loans to make sure that you still have an overall strong profile. A lot of people focus on the score, but the overall profile is what matters the most. If you have a solid profile, then the student loans may hit you temporarily, but you're strengthening your profile with other things, other good activity, other credible areas of good habits that you're developing over time. So you want to be doing that anyway. That way, even if something like this takes place, you're not hurt. In addition to that, you also want to look at your credit report because it's a chance that some of these student loans could be being reported improperly with errors and inaccuracies. And those things can be removed from your credit profile. Not necessarily excusing you from your obligation to pay, but at least getting off of your profile so that you have the ability to not be affected because it's not being reported. So these are some things you want to pay attention to: errors, inaccuracies, outdated information, unverifiable things, code violation. These are all things that we focus on, and you can get access to that as well. They then went on to say borrowers sued the Department of Education for blocking affordable payment plans and student loan forgiveness. So this is where the lawsuit kicks in. So on Tuesday evening, the AFT SBPC filed a lawsuit against the Department of Education in federal district court in the District of Columbia. In the complaint, AFT argued that the Trump administration actions are illegally preventing millions of student loan borrowers from accessing income-driven repayment plans and PSLF programs that the department is mandated to provide by statute and that are not subject to any injunction. Congress provided clear and specific directives to the department so that millions of Americans could repay their loans without being hindered by the debt. So these are some of the things that they're trying to do to help some of the people who have been affected, but who's in the right. They said that the initial repayment loans and the SAVE programs were put together in a way that wasn't done the correct way. Now they're saying that the Trump administration is doing something to reverse the good that was being done, and now they're doing something that's considered to be illegal. So it's important to know what's going on, just so no matter which way it turns, you know how to operate. And what I say is you want to take full control of your credit and know what's on there, know what affects it, know all of the factors that go into your credit, and know that student loans have the ability to be of benefit to you or of detriment to you based on how they are showing up on your profile. And this is all happening while there's still other things going on with the Department of Education, such as the Department of Education instituting mass layoffs, effectively cutting its workforce in half, and the Department of Education being cut out of the school system in general. So they're not needing as many of the people. They still play a part in the issuing of some funds. But as it relates to the original role where they were trying to be a part of all of the school systems across the nation, that is no more, because the students weren't getting smarter. They were getting dumber ever since the Department of Education has been in control. And I use that word loosely, but accurately at the same time, because if you look at the comparison of the United States in comparison to other states, more money was going into the United States schools, but they wasn't getting any smarter. They wasn't outpacing any other country. They fell to the bottom of the list in terms of literacy in several different areas. Of course, reading and comprehension, things of that nature, but also comprehension and ability to execute on levels of math, certain levels of math, and being below grade average in several different areas. So the Department of Education wasn't doing what they were supposed to do. So they're being stripped of some of those duties, but they're playing a key role in this overall process as it relates to student loans. You let me know what your thoughts are. Are you already being affected? Are you positioning yourself to not be affected? Have you figured out a way to take full control of your credit, your finances, so that way when these things happen, you're on the right side of it, or you at least know how to pivot? Mr. Smith signing out. Salute.